Albuquerque School Superintendent says he had no idea his deputy superintendent was accused of sexually assaulting kids. News 13's Chris McKee explains how the now former APS employee dodged a background check for months.
Recognized Jason Martinez for leading the team.
He was praised for his work with computer systems at Denver Public Schools in 2010.
One product is called the Principal Portal.
But Albuquerque Public Schools is now seeing a much different, criminally accused side of Jason Martinez, the deputy APS superintendent who resigned after less than 3 months on the job. Denver police records show Martinez was arrested in July 2013 for 6 counts of sexually assaulting a child. Police say Martinez watched a minor take a shower and another time forced a minor to touch his private parts during a trip to Las Vegas. Martinez is set to go to trial this year.
The focus really
New APS Superintendent Luis Valentino hired Martinez. Valentino refused on-camera interviews, but in a statement, he said he was, quote, surprised to learn about the charges and wouldn't have hired him if he had known.
What did we not think of?
But APS should have known. APS requires all of its employees to get a background check before starting work. Superintendent Valentino admits he let Martinez work without a background check. The district says it's now reviewing enforcement of that policy. The Albuquerque's Teachers Union says teachers are trying to keep students focused amidst the continued trouble in the administrative offices.
Everybody's doing their jobs, hoping that this turns out well.
Chris McKee, KRQE News 13.
The APS board will meet in a special session this Sunday for an unknown matter related to the superintendent. Albuquerque police have arrested another teen for the shooting death of a Manzano High School student. Yesterday, 16-year-old Nicholas Gonzalez was arrested in connection to the deadly drive-by shooting in June. 17-year-old Jaden Chavez Silver was shot and killed. Gonzalez, Donovan Mays, and 21-year-old Christopher Cruz are all facing an open count of murder. The APD officers charged with the death of homeless camper James Boyd will have the opportunity to answer to murder charges at a hearing next week. Keith Sandy and Dominique Perez will be able to enter a plea at the arraignment scheduled for August 28th. They're facing second-degree murder and lesser charges. A district court judge pushed the case forward earlier this week. If convicted of second-degree murder, they each face up to 16 years in prison. Another young woman was groped on UNM's campus. Police say a man in his early 20s grabbed the woman's rear end and then took off running this week. The suspect is described as a dark-skinned man with black hair with shaved sides. Police arrested 50-year-old Henry Budford earlier this month for grabbing a woman's breasts near the bookstore. There have also been 2 other reported gropings in the last few weeks. So far, no arrests in those cases. The Santa Fe man accused of throwing a banana peel at Dave Chappelle is off the hook. Prosecutors dropped the charges against Christian Englander because they say the comedian wouldn't answer their questions. Back in March, Englander tossed the peel at Chappelle after he says Chappelle made fun of his friend. Chappelle called it a racist act. Charges can be refiled if Englander doesn't do his 22 hours of community service. She's accused of going after another woman with an axe. Albuquerque police say Monica Acosta got angry when she saw her boyfriend talking to another woman. That's when she allegedly grabbed an axe, hit the woman with it, and damaged the woman's car. Police say the victim was okay and only had a bite mark to her arm. Investigators in New York are trying to find out why an armed veteran opened fire in a federal building in Manhattan, killing a security guard before killing himself. Police say Kevin Downing was a 68-year-old veteran and former federal employee for the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The building where the shooting was is an immigration court, a passport application center in the Department of Labor. Now, the motive is unknown. The city and police chief Gordon Eden recognized 4 first responders who helped save the life of an off-duty APD officer.
In our community, they don't wear capes. In our community, it's people like this that, and I don't know how to thank you.
In February, APD officer Raymond Loomis was riding his motorcycle on I-40 near Rio Grande when he was involved in a hit-and-run crash. First responders with Albuquerque Ambulance Service witnessed the whole thing and without hesitation rushed to his aid. Yesterday, Loomis was able to thank them.
I want to thank God that he was protecting me by having these people right in my area at the time this went down. Thank you very much.
One day after the crash, police arrested the driver, Thomas Stavros. Well, News 13 recently uncovered Facebook photos that may explain why a state police officer helped a woman get out of DWI charges. Now we've learned that officer is no longer on the job. Officials say Marvin Goke was fired August 20th for violating their rules and regulations. We first told you about Goke last month when he was placed on administrative leave. Now in May of 2014, then Officer Goke had no problem arresting 34-year-old Angela Torres for aggravated DWI. But it was a different story when it came time for court. Documents indicate charges against Torres were dropped because Goke failed to appear for a motion hearing in October. But there's more.
I just want to take care of you. You're my custody now.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
News 13 found these photos on Facebook along with comments indicating the two were in a relationship. State police confirmed that's Goke and the woman is Angela Torres. Now, Goke's attorney says he and his client plan to appeal through the personnel department. To see the full dash cam video and an interview with the state police chief, go to the KRQE app. They were tied up, beaten in their home. Friends of an elderly couple say they were afraid 3 robbers wearing sunglasses and hats were going to kill them after breaking into their southeast home Thursday morning. Police say the intruders tied the couple up with zip ties, beat the man, then ransacked the pair's home. Now, the victims were too scared to talk on camera but told neighbors what happened.
At one point, the wife said, "I thought my husband was dead."
The male victim, the elderly male subject, was struck numerous times in the head with the firearm. So he was pistol whipped by these guys as well.
Police are looking for the trio. They say they're all skinny, fairly tall Hispanic men between 20 and 30 years old. If you have any information, call APD. This morning, an assistant principal at Manzano High School is fighting for his life. APD says the shooter was a Little League coach who killed himself. As News 13's Marissa Lucero reports, police say it all stemmed from an alleged love affair.
Thursday night, officers respond to 2 different scenes in northeast Albuquerque. Just before 9, officers found 42-year-old Jim Chacho with gunshot wounds to his neck and torso. He was rushed to the hospital. About the same time, officers respond to a second location at Faith Lutheran Church.
And this was in reference to a male subject lying on the steps in a pool of blood with a gun next to him.
That man has been identified as 46-year-old Craig Cuthbert. Police say Cuthbert believed Chacho was having an affair with his wife. Police say earlier in the day Cuthbert confronted Chacho, then later texted him asking if they could meet up so that Cuthbert could apologize. According to APD, that's when Cuthbert shot Chacho, then fled to the church and killed himself. Chacho's friends and neighbors are in shock. They didn't want to speak on camera, but say Chacho was a kind man who they often saw playing in the yard with his kids. Many couldn't believe something like this could happen to someone like him. We're also learning more about the shooter. Longtime friend of Craig Cuthbert says he too can't believe what happened.
It was all a shock to us when we heard. So.
Della Longa says Cuthbert volunteered as a Little League coach for 8 years. He says he'll be missed.
Whenever we needed him here, he showed up.
That was News 13's Marissa Lucero. Crisis counselors spent the day yesterday at several APS schools where Chaco had worked, helping teachers and students. Newly released internal documents show the EPA knew there was the potential for a massive spill at the Gold King mine in Colorado. Among the documents is a June 2014 work order for a planned cleanup that stated conditions could result in a blowout at the collapsed entrance of the mine. Now, there are also at least 3 ongoing investigations into how exactly the EPA triggered the disaster, which tainted rivers in 3 states, including New Mexico, with lead, arsenic, and other contaminants. The fire department is investigating what went wrong at a business where 3 employees were left with chemical burns. Yesterday, hazmat crews were called out to a semiconductor manufacturing plant near the Sandia National Labs after 3 workers were exposed to nitric acid. 1 person was severely burned and 2 others had minor injuries from the chemical. All were taken to UNM Hospital. Now, the building was evacuated. AFD is still looking into what happened. A Clovis gun shop is hoping this really clear surveillance picture will help them catch a suspected gun thief. Employees at the High Plains gun shop says this guy was caught on camera stealing a 9mm pistol. They are offering $100 in store credit for any information leading to an arrest. Well, next month, we'll likely find out the future of Spaceport America. The leader of Virgin Galactic and the CEO of Spaceport America are speaking to the Chamber of Commerce in Albuquerque. They'll also be discussing the future of the commercial space industry as a whole. Now, Spaceport America is still awaiting space flights on Virgin Galactic ships. A recent crash set back plans significantly. Now, if you want to attend the talk, you'll need to register. For ticket prices and info, go to the KRQE app. A strange eye-catching sign in downtown Albuquerque is getting national attention. The feelings about it are mixed among locals. The bold message has been up for years, and it's meant to keep people from doing exactly what it says.
Seen that kind of stuff go on downtown, so it's kind of nice to try to clean it up.
But lately, it's becoming an Albuquerque staple, not according to locals, but tourists who are getting some good laughs and have been posting pictures of it online. Some people who live in Albuquerque say it gives them a bad taste. The sign is not going anywhere, though. It's on private property, and we contacted the owners to learn more about the sign, but they did not return our calls.